Good afternoon, everyone. I am Deputy Chief Maurice McKinney with the Metro Transit Police Department. On behalf of Ramada General Manager Randy Clark, Chief of Police Michael Gonzalo, we would like to extend our sincerest gratitude and sincere apologies for this incident. Everything I'm about to tell you is preliminary, and we will not be able to release all facts of this incident. Prior to 4 p.m. today, a group of teenagers were involved in a physical altercation on the platform. A suspect not involved in the altercation pulled out a firearm and shots were fired. It is undetermined how many shots were fired at this time, and it is undetermined if the victim was the intended target. The one thing we do know is that Allied Security, our contract special police officers, were on the platform, and they were able to shield patrons and get them to safety. They were able to alert Metro Transit Police, Metropolitan Police, and DC Fire for a quick response. Metro Transit Police officers arrived on scene, conducted CPR, and was quickly relieved by DC Fire, at which time the decedent was pronounced. At this time, Metro Transit Police Department is the responding agency and going to be the ancillary department on this. All incidents and investigations related to homicides in the District of Columbia will be led by the DC Metropolitan Police Department. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Parsons.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Leslie Parsons. I'm the Assistant Chief for the Investigative Services Bureau for the Metropolitan Police Department. Our homicide detectives are on the scene. We have assumed responsibility for this investigation. There were images released earlier on our social media platform. I would encourage anybody to watching this, please take a look at those images. If you have information, please call us. You can call our 24-hour command center at 202-727-9099, or you can send a text tip in at 50411. At this time, I don't have any more details or information we can release about this scene. It is very preliminary. We are in the early stages, but we will take a few questions if you have any.
Yeah, I have a question. Sir, Peter Summer, Capital Intel BBN. I live in the neighborhood. I'm fourth generation in this neighborhood. Everybody's asking for more federal help. Why can we have the FBI and the ATF come inside this investigation since this is a multi-state location? You're under you have fewer detectives than you had 4 years ago. Is that possible to get?
So we will leverage all of our resources in order to bring this investigation to a closure. I can assure you that.
But do we have a promise of FBI?
We will leverage all resources we have at our disposal.
Can you tell us? I got another question. Can you tell us how many people were actually down there on the platform, just inside this metro station?
I would not be able to tell you that. No.
Chief, was the decedent involved in the altercation?
I would defer to Metro on that, the initial stages of the investigation.
So at this time, we're going to not release information regarding this incident, but the decedent was involved in the fight.
In the altercation?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us how old that decedent was?
No, at this time we have not positively identified, but does appear to be a teenager.
And did you say the suspect was not related, not part of this group that got into this altercation before the shooting? Is that correct?
It appears that way, preliminarily.
Any of those teens that were involved in that initial fight, did they remain on scene? Did they flee? Do you guys know who was involved in that?
We have interviewed several witnesses, but I wouldn't want to get into the facts and details about witnesses at this time.
I would take a few more. Were there officers on scene at the time, or was it responsive? What was the staff?
At this time, we did have contract security on scene, and Metro Transit Police responded very quickly to the scene.
Is anyone from the U.S. Attorney's Office here, or DOJ?
I got another question. This victim, was it a man, or was it a teenager boy, or was it a
male teenager?
For those that work in the area, what safety precautions can you provide us, and what would be some steps that are moving forward that can give us some comfort for us that work in this area?
No, absolutely. So the Metropolitan Police Department will have a presence in this area. We've already been in touch with Catholic University. They'll have an increased presence as well. And then I'm going to turn to Metro and let them talk about their plans.
Yes, and we also, as I stated earlier, we did have contracted security that was already on scene at this location. And we will also staff up with Metro Transit Police officers.
Is that every metro station, or this particular one? How do you decide where to staff up, where to increase staffing at this metro station?
Yes, sir. And we do have allocated spots where we have our contracted security already in place. And then we take versus our complaints that we get and all of our intel that we get reference to traffic and any type of incident.
Chief, was the security guard armed?
The security guard was armed.
All right, all, thank you.
One security guard?
Thanks for being back.
We got a lot of frustrated neighbors here, though. I know we ask you guys this every time, but what do you say? I mean, we've got upset parents, grandparents. It's the time of day when kids are going to school, coming from school. Can anyone
Smith.
speak to that?
I can speak, and thank you for asking that question. And we recognize that there are parents and workers and individuals who are in this location that are concerned. As you've heard from Metro Transit and also heard from our Investigative Services Bureau Chief Leslie Parsons, and you will hear from me that we will have an increased presence in this space. One of the things, obviously, that we have been concerned about how our young people engage in conflict resolution. And we are working very closely with our schools. We're working very closely, as we stated earlier, with our federal and local partners to ensure that we can provide some support to our young people. One of the things that we will ask you to do tonight is that if there's anyone who has any information specifically related to this case, we ask that you share that with us. It is important to us to understand that we have young people that are good young people, and then we have those of them that create kind of these kind of activities, and we want to bring these folks to justice. That is our job, that is our responsibility. I would also like to say to the family, the Metropolitan Police Department, we extend our condolences to the family of such a tragic incident. We certainly do not want this to be the pattern of behavior for our young people. So if anyone who has any information specifically related to this incident, we ask that you would please share that information with us.
We love our young people. We all love our